Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Getting Close Up, the show focused on independent artists and creatives. I'm your host, Danielle Cox, and since I have your attention, go ahead and hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And it helps our channel, and it helps us to bring other artists to you just like the one I have today. Uplifting, motivating, encouraging are just three of the words that come to mind when I think of my guest that I have today. He lives by the motto of protecting your peace and musical integrity. Today, we are getting close up with Markus Raines.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. I see you nice and chill and relaxed. The purple chair is treating you well.
Oh man, purple chair, nice and comfy.
The last time I watched you perform, because I've seen you do several things, and I've seen a lot of your rapping style. But the last time I watched you perform, you did a lot more singing than I've seen.
Okay.
I know a lot of people have seen you sing, but at that time, I really hadn't seen you sing that much. And I was like, I know that voice. I'm like, that's very familiar. That is a churchy voice. That voice is mighty churchy. You have a very soulful tone.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's grits on that tone.
Yeah.
It's some buttery grits on that. So am I right? Is there is a churchy background in you?
So I have been in church for quite some time during my childhood. I never really got into singing in the church. Which actually, to be honest, I never really got into singing until maybe 2020 when.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was when I was at Unity at the time. I definitely had people, one person in particular who really helped me craft my voice and definitely took me on a journey to really not only understand my voice and tone, but really just more to love it, learn to appreciate it for what it is. Because a lot of times, especially with artists, oftentimes and a lot of the songs that I like to listen to, they're from soprano voices. So so a lot of times I'm just okay, well, I know I can't necessarily do that soprano style because that's where or at least not at that level, but even still, just to be able to still sing it strong and bring that out
for what your voice has.
Exactly.
And that's an important thing that you mentioned, because I think a lot of artists, a lot of people, when they start out thinking about singing or wanting to sing, they're so busy criticizing their own voice because they are comparing it to other people. And they just haven't gotten comfortable with what they sound like.
And even more so, that's a journey on its own, because you're talking about this is what you're given. You can sort of kind of work up to getting different levels. But as far as starting, you got to appreciate where your voice is right now and be able to master that where it is. And then work on taking your skills and levels from your base level of singing and then just learn to go a little higher, go figure out where your limits are. If you get to the point where it's okay, this is where my limit is, you kind of don't want it. You can aim for it, sure, but as far as performance-wise, that's where you want to stay right there within that pocket. And just being able to learn that in that setting was definitely it's something I truly appreciate.
Yeah, it's really interesting you saying that, because I know I've been known to say, everybody says things about I can't sing, I sound like crap or whatever you want to say, but when you put it that way, it kind of makes it ridiculous to criticize yourself, because you're playing an instrument that nobody's heard before.
Exactly.
It's yours.
Exactly.
So who are you to even say that it's not up to par or anything else?
Right. And again, it goes back to that whole journey of self-love, because there's been so many moments where I would hear myself and I'm just I don't like the way that sounds, and I just had to basically get through that and understand this is your voice, it's okay.
So what you're telling me is, what I'm hearing is, it's not that I can't sing. It's just that I've been trying to do Mariah Carey songs, and that was not for me.
Nope, it's not. And then again, that's nothing against you. Sometimes you just gotta find that register. You just gotta find it.
That's just not for me.
It's not up there with the Mariah Carey and the Ariana Grande. It's not up there. It's okay. It's okay. We're here for you.
Yeah.
The doors of the church are open.
The doors of the church are open.
They are open.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh my God. Like, so what came first? Was it the singing or the rapping?
The rapping.
Rapping came first?
Definitely came first.
So like even when you were much younger, maybe?
So me rapping, I would say I really started to get serious about rapping probably in my senior year in high school.
Oh, okay.
One of my friends, he was doing something on stage. He was just like, "Yeah, man, you should come on and write something." And I did. And I remember, I remember the first time that I did. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time that I did that verse, I choked. And then I was just like, oh no. I was just like, oh man, it's but I did it again, but that was the first time I realized that if I put the energy into like performing, mm-hmm. Like the Busta Rhymes energy, just all in your face.
Just all out.
Just all out, do that.
Hitting it hard.
And then I didn't, forget my voice. But of course, that was like young me really learning how to like hone my skills and figure out my energy range and all that. But about senior year, that was like when I started really learning how to like write rhymes and stuff like that. Production, I didn't get into that until actually my first year in college. But interestingly enough, I've always had like these beats in my head, just like how I would, create and put them together. It wasn't until like college when I found like a beat making program. I forgot what it was, like Beatcraft or something like that, some off the wall thing. That's what I started with. Then I like veered towards like Fruity Loops and everything else.
Yeah. And in touching on that, because when I hear some of the stuff that you've put together, you utilize a lot of like different references from like movies, TV shows, and a lot of pop culture.
Yes.
So talk to me about that and the influences of that and why it's such a strong connection for you and your music.
Well, in becoming the artist that I am, the journey of owning who I am was definitely, and it's still an ongoing one, but like at this point now, I'm like a lot more stronger in who I am as opposed to like when I was starting. But like at the same time, like all I knew was video games, basketball, movies.
That was your life.
Yeah. So like, and ultimately like I had like, back then I was like kind of finding a balance between like, okay, what was cool to rap about and what you knew. And, of course, over time, it just got to a point where I was just like, I'm just going to do me.
Right.
But
what kind of themes were there like early on?
So let's see.
Because you even had a different name.
Yeah. All right. So when I first, back in 2007, I always say 2007 is like when I would say I officially started like diving in more into my music. I started out with first name I had was Mr. Ambition. So that was like, I would say my college name. So that was like from 2007 to like 2010. And then I know some of the projects that I did, one was called Classes in Session.
Yeah.
That was like sort of kind of like just me understanding my style, trying to figure out where I am, trying to, get a little bit of my footing. Just diving into different topics of like where I wanted to go, how far I wanted to carry myself, and just like my path on starting this music style. One of my favorite projects that I did with that name was Ambition's Rush, which I seen August Rush like for the very first time, and it blew my mind. So kind of like how Jay-Z, when he seen American Gangster and he just went and created, when he went and created American Gangster, I sort of kind of did that and did the same thing with Ambitious Rush. And that was like very quick inspiration, and just the music just like literally came to me, and I enjoyed that, creating that project.
That's cool. Because then also you have like on Bandcamp the Rocky themes project, and that made me think about that too. I said, oh, this is like the beginning of all of this.
Yes.
So it's really cool connecting that dot.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty dope.
Yes. Now with Rocky Stories, so like when I late 2010, I had a chance to go live with my dad for a little bit and sort of kind of just basically restart, and ultimately really sort of kind of put some kind of foot to pedal with my music. And it was actually cool because I got a chance to, I really dove more into like YouTube and like, really putting my music out and like sort of kind of networking through YouTube. And I met a lot of great people, doing that.
You collaborate with a lot of people.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like from, let's see. So his name was R-Sonic back then, but now he's TMR, the Marine rapper. Pretty dope rapper. Lex Leosis is another one. Phoenix Pagliacci. His name is Pure Knowledge is another one. Just a lot of, like, at the time they were like, they were just sort of kind of getting started, just like me. But like now, like you can probably just look up their music and stuff like that, and they're out there. But like when I did Rocky Stories, and to me, in my opinion, that's like my best project, one of my best projects. I would say the best.
People don't say that about their early stuff.
I knew where I was at, and the energy and time I put into each and every single song when I created it, and I was just like, holy crap! Like, oh man, cool. and I look back and listen to it sometimes, and I'm just like, man, this. I was definitely in a pocket. Like sometimes, like when I did my show for Tony's, like he had a hip hop show. When he was doing stuff with Art Garden, and then he invited me out to do a set there. A lot of like my first like bit that I did was like me just going back of like over some of the stuff that I've done, and a lot of those were pulled from Rocky Stories. Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely fun, and that was like Rocky Stories was that moment where I was just like, okay.
Yeah, you just had a light bulb moment. But even in that, like. Because like we talked about musical integrity and maintaining that, and you've had some struggles with, people wanting to work with certain people and maybe they don't see your vision or they return it back to you in a way that you don't understand. So looking at it with you being a producer and knowing what you've experienced in the past, how do you help maintain the integrity of what artists give to you?
Let's see. Maintain the integrity in which artists give to me.
Yeah, like so if you're working on a project with someone, like how do you look at what they give you when you're producing?
Okay.
In order to return it back to them.
Yep. So and that for me has definitely allowed me to really expand on not just my style, but the wide range of creativity for music in general.
Exactly.
Because so many, there's like the same story can be told almost like 100, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the beauty of music, is like being able to figure out, okay, how can I tell my part of my story, but with your style? And then that's sort of kind of just like sitting with the artist and just allowing myself to just not necessarily be interjective. And the only part in which I feel like I interject is when I create. When I create. But then it's like they give me the idea, they give me the inspiration. I'm like, okay, I can take that and boom, do, and then just bring forth whatever needs to be done.
And I love how supportive you are of other artists, and you're in there in the community to where you may not be standing out front, but when you look behind the scenes, you peek behind the curtain a little bit, it's like, oh, there he is. There you go.
Yep.
And that's kind of cool. Like a lot of people don't think of that as being so, but you know, in the good part of humility,
Yep.
knowing where your talent is and where you could be of the most help and not letting ego get in the way of that.
Yep. That's a big thing. You said not letting ego get in the way of it, because like a lot of times, especially in this music thing, like if you let your ego get even a morsel of like what you can actually do and where you can actually go, and you allow, like, yeah, sure, I understand there's ambition and goals, I get that, but like allowing that to like fill your head and make yourself bigger than what you currently are, no, that can easily create your downfall right then and there.
Absolutely. And you've been doing a lot of work on yourself. Like this isn't all, you know, the peace and the calm and all of this type of stuff is a work in progress.
Oh yeah, always.
Because you've been really doing the work on yourself, and it really shows in the type of message in your music that you have out now. We're going to get into that in just a second, because I feel like it also ties into the other thing that I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
So when you sent us your information, you sent us all these links, and you sent us an IMDb link.
Okay.
And we clicked on it.
Yeah.
And it said that you were in a short horror film called Released, and we brought it up. We were like,
yeah, which, by the way, like, if anybody has a link to that movie, I want to see that, because I literally tried looking it up this morning. I couldn't find it, but I'm like, when we were talking about it in the pre-production call, I was just like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about it. I totally forgot I was in that. But yeah, like like I basically was in a funeral scene, basically. So that's basically all it was. But when you mentioned that, I was just like, oh,
I was like, he sent us the link though.
Lord have mercy.
It was so funny. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
But what I like about that though is, yes, while you were just like in a scene of it, I feel like you're leaning towards having an acting bug or a directing bug real heavy with the types of things that you're wanting to get into next. So let's talk about that, because I really want to spend some time on it, because I think it's so interesting. Fourth Quarter is one of the projects.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Absolutely. So my next, Fourth Quarter is going to be my immediately next project, just because, you know, I want to get back into creating, want to get back into, you know, putting out stuff. But the reason why this is titled Fourth Quarter is I kind of see it as like, don't give up music, you know, and, you know, if you look at a lot of high school football, whenever they hold up the during the fourth quarter, and it's just like fourth quarter, because you think about it, they don't do it during any other quarter.
No, they don't
until it's the fourth. Because and then a lot of times it's like fourth quarter, we're right there.
Yeah,
we are right there. And you know, as of late, like a lot of the music that I've been creating has been for me, and in my opinion, that's where you get your best. Yeah, and then you have everybody like look at it and be like, oh, okay, I like that. And that just gives me the freedom to be able to expand and, you know, do whatever I want. But with Fourth Quarter, I sort of kind of want to tap back into that energy I had when I did Rocky Stories. Like just that grit and grind, and, you know, stay at the fight, you know, keep pushing on. But with all the mental health that I have been diving more into, also let people know that, yes, push for your goals, but also allow yourself some rest. So even though in the middle of this period of fourth quarter, still take care of yourself, still check in with yourself. You know, if you really honestly don't have that energy to do it, it's okay. Allow yourself, give yourself that moment to rest. Once you get your rest, get back at it, because there's things in you that are meant to be out that can help change someone's lives, and you can't give up on that. So ultimately this is what that project is about.
That's awesome.
So specifically this one, I'm going to lean more into my rap, but from the one, like, that's probably going to be my last one before I really dive into my bigger one.
Let's go ahead and get into that.
So yeah, like I said, this is like, I would say that's like going to be my last majorly rap project before like my next big one. My next big one is going to be called Instrumental Health, the album.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I thought this was
Yes.
Really interesting.
Oh yes. So the reason why I love, of course, like 2018 was like when I was like really starting to get into therapy and start going to therapists and working on a lot of my issues, and everything, and it was a major heart opener for me. Allowed myself to really look at things from a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different things within myself, and it, of course, with all of that, it led me to create music, as always.
Right.
And that's where I created the song "Riding Through to Let Go," which is out on.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So with that song, I created several other songs. But like when I did that, I was just like, I want to create a project to where it's like not me rapping so much, but it's just like music, beats, do whatever you want. That was my original vision for it. That's the reason why I named it Instrumental Health.
Yeah.
But also playing in the mental part, mental health, instrumental health. So many plays with that whole phrase.
Got it. Yeah. And then too, with your interest in film scores and all that type of stuff, it kind of just adds into it all together.
Yes. So, but with it being the album, I also this is one I want to do so big. I want to be able to really take it as far as I can go. So I would say the basic premise of it is just basically me just taking a reflective look at the music in which I created in the past.
Right.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the versions of myself to where they're definitely not me, but at the same time, I can still show love and appreciation to them because they guided me and helped me.
They got you where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so with that, I am in the process of creating and solidifying a script for it. So, of course, that is going to be first definitely carried through the album. So that'll be heard through the album.
And so when you say a script for it, do you mean for a movie, for a play?
I say why not all.
Okay.
I say why not all. I mean, just to toss it out there.
Just to toss it out there. Okay.
But to start first, it'll definitely be within the album. So kind of how you heard Kendrick Lamar's "Good Kid, Mad City."
Yes.
And from the beginning to the end, he sort of kind of had a story.
I love
that he was. I kind of want to do that, but it's gonna be definitely script heavy. In a sense, but still good music to it. So in doing that, I'm hoping to translate that into a play version of that, to where it can be seen on a play. Crossing fingers, hoping that if that goes well, hopefully I can translate that into a movie. But one thing at a time.
Hey, listen.
One thing at a time.
If Tyler Perry did it, anybody can.
Heard.
It can happen. I mean, we're not gonna be bootlegging the movie out of vans or anything we did with Tyler Perry stuff. Right. But we're gonna buy the tickets and we're gonna go. Okay, we're gonna go see it.
Yes.
We're buy the tickets.
Yes.
But I think that's just fascinating because I think every level you're tapping into different things that you are finding in yourself, and this. You could have just been like, oh, I want to do a music video. Nah. I'm going to do a script to it, and I'm going to do a play. That's a big jump.
I don't know.
It's very ambitious.
It is though. And it's when it came to me and of how I wanted to do this, I was just like, bro, this is a lot.
Yeah.
But then once I wrote my first edition of the script, I was just like, okay, we can do this. We can do this.
Oh, wow.
And we just gotta, get the pieces.
Is there anything you can share about the inspiration for or anything about the story itself? It's okay if you can't, but
I'm gonna keep that a secret. I'm gonna just reel that back and just wait for you guys to just take it all in all at once.
Okay, I'm really excited to see that.
Yes.
it's just, with you branching out into this and all the self-discovery that has happened, I know it's going to be a story that's uplifting and motivating and encouraging. Back to the 3 words that I used at the very beginning. So when you think about a successful career for Markus Raines, a successful career, period, because I would just say as a musician, but you are touching on things that take you into more than just that.
Right.
What does that look like for you?
For me, a successful career is one to where I can not only create the opportunity for people to see more within themselves, but at least give them some type of vision so that they can have clarity on what that could be. And of course, for everybody, it could be different, which all the more reason why, like, I aim to shoot for, like, messages that, like, are wide and broad and not necessarily, like, narrow. So for me, I would say, like, one in which I'm, in a position to give back more, to be able to, be more of a help to everybody either coming into the music industry, everybody who's out there now, just any way in which I can be a helping hand and just, just even a listening ear. That's always, a good success for me.
Yeah, because I mean, you could think of EGOT with what you're asking. I mean, like, with the type of stuff you're wanting to do. I'm just saying. Like, is it not on the track? Potentially with the things that you're wanting to do.
I mean,
it's okay to want that and want the community stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, you're right. Oh, you know what? I would say to be a part of somebody's Grammy-winning project. I would say that would be a good thing to shoot for. Doesn't necessarily have to be mine. If it's mine, cool. But like, if I'm part of that project, that would also be dope. Because then that's just a testament of just like, oh my goodness, I did all this work to get to that point. And it's like, oh yeah.
And you're working with you've worked with a lot of really talented people.
Oh my gosh.
That have,
and counting. The artist community, especially independent artist community, is so important that it sticks together. And there are some people, of course, they have their own motivations and things, and they may work with you just to get to this next thing, and you never see them again and all that. Like, so what have been some experiences that you thought about and you said, now that happened, I know not to do that again? I would say, so I'll give you like a broad theme of those experiences. So what a lot of those experiences have taught me is that you have to put in your work. Yeah. Like, a lot of times when I went into the past experiences, I went into them thinking that there's going to be someone going to be, promoting and doing all of that for me. And that would be cool because, I mean, me growing up in the 90s, you grew up with this whole mindset of, like, you get in, you make the music, someone discovers you, and they do all that work for you.
No, that is
that was cool for the 90s and for what it was then. But, like, in this new era of music now, like, we have so much of that control. Yeah. We have so much of that ability to be able to be as creative as we can and we want to, and as frequent as we want to, with our promotion, how often we release music, to where we release music, and what we perform and all that. So, like, it really helped me take in the fact that you got to put in the work yourself. A lot of the, like, I mean, sure, it's cool when you get to a point to where you have help, by all means, great. But even still, you continue to pour more into yourself and put the work into promoting yourself and pushing yourself like you are, like, you know, like you would any other artist, you know.
Right.
Like,
Make yourself the priority. Make your art the priority, because really it's not anybody else's job to do that.
the bingo.
Yeah. And I think a lot of artists have a hard time with that. But you touched on something that always anytime somebody says something like this, reminds me of episode 10 of season 1 where we interviewed Sean Tyler, staple in radio, the music scene in Kansas City for 30 plus years.
Nice.
And I asked him the question of why is it so hard for independent artists to get on the radio? And he just frankly said, they don't need to. They don't need to. They need to use the momentum of all those people they know are following them. Those are ears. Those are automatic ears. Use that momentum, put out content, and you won't have to be on the radio because the radio is a game. You know, and they're going to put out the popular stuff and play those same things over and over, whether they need to or not. They have the option to not, but they choose not to.
Right.
They choose not to do that. They choose to keep running the same wheel. And it always makes me think of that. And I'm so glad that there's so many independent artists that are realizing their power and their ability. Like it takes a lot of effort to be out on social media. Don't get me wrong. The social media streets are not fun.
Nope.
Not for a creative.
Nope.
Because it's so formulaic and it's just weird. It's like most of us, as soon as we feel like something has to be a formula or you have to play a game, we don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
Like immediately don't. So that's just one thing that if you haven't watched that interview, definitely watch it. He drops a lot of gems.
I will definitely check it out for sure.
But that's one thing that just always sticks out to me. So I just also want to thank you for being such a pillar and being a linchpin in the community for other artists, because I think that that's really needed, and it helps people get to that point that we talked about of where you can realize your power and put your own music out there the way you want to, as much as you want to, when you want to, and you can take back that control.
Absolutely.
So I thank you so much for being with me today.
Oh, absolutely.
Why don't you go ahead and tell people where they can find you?
Well, you can find me specifically, mostly on Instagram. That's where I am the most active. MOA816913. That is the biggest spot you can pretty much find me.
Nice. And as far as your music, it's streaming on all platforms?
All platforms.
Nice.
Under the name Markus Raines. That's Markus Raines. And Raines is spelled Raines. So.
Nice. Awesome. And I know they're going to want to follow because they're going to want to keep up with what's going on.
Yes.
Stay
tuned. Stay tuned as much as I want. Like, because I'm telling you, when I drop this, it is going to hit heads. I promise you that.
I am looking forward to it. It's so dope. Thank you so much for sitting in the purple chair and talking with me today.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Many thanks again to my guest, Markus Raines, for joining me today. If you had as much fun as we did, make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe so that we can keep bringing it to you. The links that he gave in the description will be down in the description box below. And make sure that you check us out every other Friday. New episodes Getting Close Up air bi-weekly on Fridays. I say it every week, and I mean it every time. Also, check out me and D as we give you the tea on what's hot and what's not with GCU Review. You don't want to miss it. Thank you guys for watching. You're the best part of all of this, and I'll see you next time for another Close Up. I'll be checking for you. Bye.